Commander Dae-ho Kim stared at the massive display screen in the control room of the space station New Seoul. The screen showed 12 alien ships floating in space outside Earth's solar system. These ships looked nothing like human vessels. Some were made of crystal that sparkled like diamonds. Others looked like giant metal spheres covered in spikes. One ship seemed to be made of pure energy that shifted colors like an oil spill. "Sir, incoming transmission," said Lieutenant Bo-Ram Lee from her station. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls. "It's coming from all 12 ships at once." Dae-ho nodded. He had been expecting this call for weeks. Earth's scouts had reported strange alien activity near the outer planets. Ships had been watching them. Ships that belonged to something called the Galactic Council. "Put it on the main screen," Dae-ho ordered. The display changed. Now it showed the inside of what looked like a massive courtroom. 12 different types of aliens sat in tall chairs arranged in a circle. At the center stood a creature that looked like it was made of living crystal. Its voice echoed through the speakers with a sound like breaking glass. "I am Chancellor Quex Nara of the Vorthak Empire," the crystal being said. "I speak for the Galactic Council. We address the species known as humans." Dae-ho felt his stomach tighten. He had trained for first contact with aliens his whole life. But this did not feel like the peaceful meeting that Earth's leaders had hoped for. "Humans of the planet Earth," the Chancellor continued, "you have been observed. You have been judged. The Council has reached a decision about your future." Another alien stepped forward. This one looked like a cloud of purple gas wearing a suit of armor. When it spoke, its voice sounded like wind through a tunnel. "Your species shows dangerous signs," the gas creature said. "You fight among yourselves. You destroy your own planet. You spread into space with weapons and war. You are a threat to galactic peace." Dae-ho looked around the control room. Every person at their station was listening carefully. He could see the fear in their eyes, but he also saw something else. Anger. The Crystal Chancellor spoke again. "The Galactic Council offers you a choice, humans. You will surrender all weapons. You will stop building warships. You will stay within your own solar system. We will protect you from yourselves." "Protect us," Dae-ho whispered. "If you agree to these terms," the Chancellor said, "you will be allowed to live in peace under Council guidance. Special areas will be set aside for your species on your own worlds. You will be safe." A third alien joined the others. This one looked like a giant insect with too many arms. Its voice clicked and buzzed as it spoke. "If you refuse these generous terms," the insect said, "the Council will take corrective action. Your weapons will be removed by force. Your leaders will be replaced with Council advisors. Your people will learn to live properly." Bo-Ram looked up from her station. Her face was pale, but her eyes were bright with anger. "Sir," she whispered, "they're talking about putting us in cages." Dae-ho nodded slowly. He had been thinking the same thing. This was not an offer of protection. This was a demand for surrender. "You have 72 hours to respond," the Chancellor said. "Send your answer to these coordinates. The Council will be waiting." The transmission ended. The screen went back to showing the 12 alien ships floating in space. They looked bigger now, more threatening. "Get me a direct line to Earth," Dae-ho ordered. "Priority Alpha. I need to speak to President Park right away." Within minutes, the face of President Tae-min Park appeared on the screen. He was sitting in the emergency meeting room deep under the capital city. Behind him, Dae-ho could see other important people. Admiral Sun-woo Choi from the Defense Fleet, Defense Minister Hye-jin Yu, scientists and generals and politicians. "Commander Kim," the President said, "we received the transmission here as well. What is your assessment?" Dae-ho took a deep breath. "Sir, I think they want to make us prisoners in our own solar system. They talk about protection, but it sounds like control to me." Admiral Choi leaned forward. "How many ships do they have out there?" 12 visible ships, sir. But our sensors are picking up more movement in the outer system. I think there might be others we cannot see." Defense Minister Yu spoke up. "What about their weapons? Can we fight them if we have to?" "Unknown, ma'am. Their technology is unlike anything we have ever seen. But our ships are fast and our crews are well trained." President Park was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke in a calm voice. "Commander, I want you to prepare a response message. Keep it simple. Tell them we need time to discuss their offer with all of Earth's governments. Yes, sir. What should I really tell them? The president smiled, but it was not a happy smile. Tell them we are considering their generous offer. That should buy us some time to figure out what we are really dealing with. Over the next 24 hours, reports came in from all over the solar system. The aliens had been busy. Captain Wu Jinha reported alien ships near the asteroid belt. Captain Mi-young Seo spotted unknown vessels hiding behind the moons of Jupiter. Captain Ji-hoon Nam's patrol ship detected energy signatures near Mars that did not match any human technology. Boram worked without sleep, analyzing every piece of data they could gather about the alien ships. She discovered something interesting. The ships were old, very old. Their energy patterns suggested technology that was thousands of years more advanced than anything humans had built. But there were weaknesses too. The ships moved in predictable patterns. They seemed to rely on their size and power rather than speed or clever tactics. Sir, Boram said during the second day, I have been studying their ships. I think they are used to dealing with species that give up without a fight. What makes you say that? Their formation, sir. They are set up for intimidation, not for battle. They want us to see how big and powerful they are. They want us to be scared. Daeho looked at the tactical display. She was right. The alien ships were arranged to look as threatening as possible, but they were not in good positions for actual fighting. As the 72-hour deadline approached, President Park called another meeting. This time, leaders from every nation on Earth were connected to the call. The debate was fierce. Some wanted to accept the aliens' terms. Others wanted to fight. Many wanted to try to negotiate. Finally, President Park called for silence. We have heard all the arguments, he said. Now we must decide. Do we surrender our freedom for the promise of safety, or do we stand up for ourselves? The vote was close, but in the end, Earth's leaders made their choice. President Park looked directly into the camera. Commander Kim, please send our response to the Galactic Council. Tell them that Earth has considered their offer carefully. Yes, sir. What is our answer? We decline. Daeho felt a chill run down his spine. He looked around the control room. Every person was staring at him. They all knew what this meant. Sir, Daeho said quietly, they will not be happy with that answer. President Park nodded. No, they will not. Commander, prepare the defense fleet for battle. If they want a fight, Earth will give them one. The transmission ended. Daeho turned to Boram. Send the message, he ordered. All frequencies. Make sure every alien ship in the system receives it. Boram's fingers moved over her controls. Then she looked up. Message sent, sir. Daeho looked at the display screen showing the 12 alien ships. Soon those ships would know that humanity had refused to surrender. Soon they would have to decide what to do about it. All stations, prepare for possible hostile action, Daeho announced over the station's communication system. This is not a drill. Earth had given its answer. Now they would learn what that answer would cost them. 3 days after Earth sent their message, the alien response came. 200 ships appeared at the edge of the solar system like deadly flowers blooming in space. They were much larger than the first 12 ships. Some looked like floating cities made of metal and crystal. Others resembled giant weapons with engines attached. Admiral Sun Woo Choi stood on the bridge of his flagship, the battleship Seoul. Through the front windows, he could see his own fleet spread out in formation. 47 human ships waited. In the asteroid belt, between Mars and Jupiter, it looked tiny compared to the alien armada approaching them. Sir, incoming transmission, reported Communications Officer Yu Jin Kang. It's from the alien fleet. Put it through, Admiral Choi ordered. The screen showed a massive alien that looked like a cross between a lizard and a machine. Half of its body seemed to be made of metal. Its eyes glowed red like burning coals. When it spoke, its voice sounded like grinding gears. I am War Marshal Thexmore of the Draknari Empire, the creature said. I command the Council Enforcement. Fleet, you have refused the Council's generous offer. This was a mistake. Admiral Choi stepped forward. I am Admiral Sunwoo Choi of the Earth Defense Fleet. We received your message. Our answer has not changed. The alien war marshal made a sound that might have been laughter. Look around you, Admiral. 200 ships against 47. Your weapons are primitive. Your ships are small. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick. We did not come here to surrender, Admiral Choi replied calmly. Then you came here to die, Thexmore snarled. You have one final chance. Order your ships to power down their weapons. Submit to boarding. Accept council authority. This is your last opportunity for mercy. Admiral Choi looked around his bridge. Every officer was watching him. He thought about Earth, millions of miles away. He thought about his daughter who was starting college. He thought about all the people counting on him. War Marshal, he said clearly, Earth's answer is the same as before. We decline. The alien's metal face twisted with rage. So be it. All ships, prepare to destroy the human fleet. Show them the price of defying the council. The transmission ended. Admiral Choi turned to his crew. All ships, battle stations. This is what we trained for. Captain Ji-Hoon Nam commanded the destroyer Busan on the right side of the human formation. He watched the alien ships begin to move forward like a slow-moving wall of death. His hands were steady on the controls, but his heart was beating fast. Captain, his weapons officer said, the aliens are charging their main guns. Energy readings are off the charts. Let them come, Ji-Hoon said. Wait for the Admiral's signal. The alien fleet moved closer. Their ships were so large they blocked out the stars behind them. Ji-Hoon could see weapon ports opening along their hulls like hungry mouths. Soon those weapons would start firing. All. Human ships, Admiral Choi's voice came over the radio. Remember the plan. Stay close to the asteroids. Use your speed. Make every shot count. Lieutenant Yoon Soo-jung was the leader of Fighter Squadron 7. Her small ship was hidden behind a large asteroid with 11 other fighters. She could see the alien fleet getting closer through her cockpit window. Squadron 7, this is Control, came the voice from the Soul. Begin Phase 1. Copy that, Control, Yoon-soo replied. Squadron 7, follow my lead. The 12 fighters burst out from behind the asteroid like angry bees. They flew straight toward the center of the alien formation. The alien ships immediately started shooting at them. Bright beams of energy lit up space like deadly fireworks. But the human fighters were fast and small. They dodged between the energy beams, diving and climbing and spinning through space. Yoon-soo led them straight toward the largest alien ship in the center of the formation. Now, she shouted into her radio. All 12 fighters fired their missiles at the same time. The missiles streaked toward the alien flagship like shooting stars. Most of them hit the ship's massive hull and exploded in bright flashes. The alien ship shook, but did not seem badly damaged. Phase 1 complete, Yoon-soo reported. All fighters, scatter pattern. Keep them busy. The alien ship started chasing. The fighters, firing wildly in all directions. This was exactly what Admiral Choi had hoped for. While the aliens were distracted, he gave the signal for Phase 2. All ships, execute Asteroid Gambit. Commander Mi-young Seo was captain of the corvette Daegu. When she heard the Admiral's order, she smiled grimly. The Asteroid Gambit was a crazy plan that only humans would be foolish enough to try. Her ship was positioned next to a massive asteroid the size of a city block. The asteroid was mostly iron and rock, weighing millions of tons. Mi-young had spent hours calculating the exact spot to place her ship's most powerful bomb. Weapons, fire package Alpha, she ordered. Her ship launched a single torpedo. But this was not an ordinary weapon. Human engineers had filled it with every explosive they could find. The torpedo flew to the predetermined spot on the asteroid and exploded. The asteroid cracked like an egg. Then it began to move. The explosion had given it just enough push to send it tumbling toward the alien fleet. Millions of tons of rock and metal began spinning through space like the universe's largest bowling ball. Other human ships were doing the same thing. Captain Woo Jin-ha's ship pushed another asteroid toward the aliens. Captain So-young Kim used 3 smaller rocks like pool balls, bouncing them off each other to change their direction. The alien fleet found themselves facing something they had never seen before. Enemy ships were one thing. But how do you fight asteroids? How do you shoot at rocks that have no engines and no crew? War Marshal Thexmore watched in growing anger as his ships tried to destroy the incoming asteroids. Fire all weapons, he commanded. Blast those rocks to pieces. But the asteroids were huge, and there were many of them. Some alien ships managed to destroy the rocks with their powerful guns. Others tried to move out of the way. But space is three-dimensional. And the humans had thought of that too. Admiral Choi had positioned his ships so that any direction the aliens moved would bring them closer to human weapons. When the alien ships tried to avoid the asteroids, they flew straight into ambushes. Captain Hyunwoo Lee had been waiting behind a cluster of small asteroids with 5 other ships. When 3 alien vessels tried to escape the rock attack by moving upward, they found themselves facing human guns at close range. "All ships, fire everything," Hyunwoo ordered. 6 human ships opened fire at the same time. Their weapons were smaller than the alien guns, but at close range, they did terrible damage. The first alien ship exploded in a ball of fire. The second ship lost its main engine and began spinning out of control. The third ship tried to turn around but moved too slowly. All across the battlefield, similar scenes were playing out. Human ships would attack from behind asteroids, fire quickly, then disappear again. The aliens had expected to fight a normal space battle with 2 fleets facing each other in neat lines. Instead, they found themselves in a wild chase through a maze of floating rocks. Commander Mi-young Seo watched as one of the largest alien ships was hit by the asteroid her torpedo had launched. The massive rock smashed into the alien vessel's side like a giant hammer. The ship's hull cracked open and atmosphere rushed out into space. But Mi-young knew the humans were still badly outnumbered. For every alien ship they damaged, there were 4 more behind it. The alien fleet was beginning to reorganize. Soon they would figure out how to deal with the asteroid tactics. "This is Admiral Choi to all ships," came the voice over the radio. "Prepare for Phase 3. We have hurt them, but now they are getting angry." Mi-young looked at her tactical display. The alien fleet was indeed regrouping. They were forming a new formation designed to protect their large ships with smaller escort vessels. Their weapon fire was becoming more organized and deadly. "Captain," her weapons officer said, "we are running low on missiles, and the aliens are learning our tricks." Mi-young nodded. The surprise was over. Now it would be a real fight. She looked at the display showing the alien flagship where War Marshal Thexmore commanded his fleet. An idea began to form in her mind. A terrible, wonderful idea. "Helm," she said quietly, "plot a course for the alien flagship. Maximum speed." "Ma'am?" her pilot asked. "That ship has enough firepower to destroy a planet." "I know," Mi-young said, "but it also has their commander on board. Sometimes the best way to kill a snake is to cut off its head." She opened a channel to the soul. "Admiral Choi, this is Commander Seo, requesting permission for a special mission." "Go ahead, Commander." "Sir, I want to ram the flagship." There was silence on the radio. Then Admiral Choi's voice came back, calm and steady. "Commander, that would be a suicide mission." "Yes, sir. But if we can take out their leader, the rest of their fleet might fall apart. It could save a lot of human lives." Another pause. Then, "Permission granted, Commander. Good luck." Mi-young turned to her crew. "Anyone who wants to leave can take the escape pods. No shame in it." Her crew looked at each other. Then her weapons officer spoke up. "With respect, Captain, where would we go? This is our ship. This is our fight." Mi-young felt proud of her. "Crew." She also felt sad, knowing what she was about to ask them to do, but sometimes in war people had to make hard choices. "All right then," she said. The corvette Daegu flew like a bullet toward the massive alien flagship. Commander Mi-young Seo gripped her chair as enemy weapons fire exploded all around her small ship. The alien vessel ahead of her was 10 times larger than anything humans had ever built. Its hull was covered with weapon turrets that were all turning to face her. "Captain, they are targeting us with everything they have," her pilot reported. His voice was calm despite the danger. "Impact in 30 seconds. "Hold course," Mi-young ordered. "All power to forward shields." On the bridge of the alien flagship, War Marshal Thexmore watched the tiny human ship approaching. He could not believe what he was seeing. "Are they actually trying to ram us?" he asked his officers. "It appears so, War Marshal," replied his tactical officer. "Should we destroy them?" "No," Thexmore said with cruel amusement. "Let them hit us. I want their admiral to watch their brave little ship break like an egg against our armor. It will teach the humans about the futility of defying the Council." But the War Marshal had made a mistake. He did not understand human determination. As the Daegu approached the flagship, Mi-young did something unexpected. Instead of hitting the alien ship's thick armor, she aimed for the communication array on top of the vessel. The small human ship smashed into the delicate equipment like a hammer hitting glass. The collision destroyed the Daegu completely, but it also knocked out the flagship's ability to talk to the rest of the fleet. Suddenly, 200 alien ships found themselves without orders from their commander. Some captains continued fighting. Others stopped to wait for new instructions. A few began to retreat, thinking their leader was dead. Admiral Sunwoo Choi saw the confusion in the alien fleet and acted quickly. "All human ships, attack now while they are confused," he ordered. Over the radio, Captain Ji-Hoon Nam pushed his destroyer Busan forward at maximum speed. The alien ships were no longer moving together as one group. Individual vessels were scattered across the asteroid field, easy targets for his weapons. "Fire all missiles," Ji-Hoon commanded. "Target their engines." The Busan launched every weapon it had. The missiles streaked through space and hit 3 different alien ships. 2 of the vessels lost power and began drifting helplessly. The third one exploded in a bright ball of fire. Lieutenant Yoon Soo-jung regrouped her fighter squadron behind a large asteroid. She had lost 4 pilots in the first attack, but the remaining 8 fighters were still ready to fight. "Squadron 7, form up on me," she said into her radio. "We are going after their command ship." The fighters burst out from their hiding place and flew toward another large alien vessel. This ship was trying to take control of the fleet after the flagship lost communication. If the humans could stop it too, the alien formation would fall apart completely. But the aliens were learning. This time they were ready for the small human fighters. Energy beams filled the space around Yunsu's squadron like a deadly light show. 2 more fighters exploded before they could reach their target. "Keep going!" Yunsu shouted. "We are almost there!" Her remaining fighters dove toward the alien command ship. They flew between the massive weapon turrets, too close for the big guns to target them. Yunsu led them straight toward the ship's bridge, where she could see alien figures moving behind armored windows. All 6 fighters fired at the same spot on the bridge. Their weapons were small, but concentrated fire could damage even heavy armor. Cracks appeared in the alien ship's windows. Then the bridge exploded outward as atmosphere rushed into space. The second command ship began to drift without anyone to steer it. Now the alien fleet was truly confused. Ship captains were shouting at each other over their radios, trying to figure out who was in charge. Admiral Choi watched the chaos in the enemy fleet and made a hard decision. His own ships were damaged and running low on weapons, but the aliens were vulnerable right now. This might be the only chance to win. "All ships, general attack," he ordered. "Hit them with everything we have left." The human fleet charged forward. They had started the battle with 47 ships. Now only 31 were still able to fight. But those 31 ships fought like demons. Captain Woo Jin-ha drove his cruiser straight into the middle of the alien formation. His ship was surrounded by enemies, but that meant all his weapons could hit something. He spun his vessel like a top, firing in all directions. "Sir, we are taking heavy damage," his engineer reported. "Hull breaches on decks 3 and 7. We cannot take much more of this." "Then we better make it count," Woo Jin replied. He aimed his ship's main gun at an alien vessel that looked like a giant metal octopus. "Fire everything." The cruiser's most powerful weapon struck the alien ship right in its center. The octopus-like vessel folded in on itself and exploded. But the effort used up the last of Woo Jin's power. His ship went dark and began to drift. Captain So-Young Kim saw Woo Jin's ship in trouble. She turned her own vessel toward him, trying to provide cover. But 3 alien ships were already moving to finish off the helpless cruiser. "Not today," So-Young said grimly. She pushed her engines past their safety limits and flew directly between the alien ships and Woo Jin's cruiser. "You want him? You have to go through me first." Her ship opened fire on all 3 alien vessels at once. It was impossible for her to win against such odds. But she bought Woo Jin's crew time to restart their engines and escape. Meanwhile, on the other side of the battlefield, something strange was happening. Some of the alien ships had stopped fighting entirely. They were receiving messages from somewhere else in the galaxy. Captain Bo Ram Lee had been watching the battle from her exploration ship. She was not a warship, so she stayed hidden behind the asteroids. But her job was to listen to enemy communications and gather information. "Admiral," she called over the radio, I am picking up transmissions from the alien fleet. Some of their ships are getting orders to retreat. Retreat? Admiral Choi asked. From who? I think it is coming from their homeworld, sir. It sounds like other species are rebelling against the Council. The aliens are being called back to deal with problems at home. This was incredible news. The battle in the asteroid belt was not the only fight happening. All across the galaxy, other species had seen the humans refuse to surrender. Now they were rising up against the Council, too. War Marshal Thexmore had managed to restore communication to his flagship, but the news he received was all bad. His fleet was scattered and damaged. Worse, reports were coming in from across the galaxy about rebellions and uprisings. War Marshal, his communication officer, reported, "We are receiving recall orders from the Draknari High Command. They need our ships to defend the home system." Thexmore looked at the tactical display showing the battle. His fleet still outnumbered the humans, but barely, and his ships were no longer fighting as a coordinated force. Many captains were already turning their vessels away from the fight. "Sir," his tactical officer said, "the humans are regrouping for another attack. What are your orders?" Thexmore stared at the display for a long moment. He had been sent here to crush a weak species and teach them their place. Instead, he found himself fighting an enemy that refused to stay defeated. Even worse, their example was inspiring other species to rebel. "Signal the fleet," he said finally. "All ships, withdraw to the edge of the system. We will regroup and await further orders." Admiral Choi could hardly believe what he was seeing. The massive alien fleet was pulling back. Ships that had seemed unstoppable were turning around and flying away from the battle. "Sir," Captain Ji-Hoon Nam called over the radio, "they are retreating. Do we pursue?" Admiral Choi looked at his own fleet. Half his ships were damaged. Many had lost weapons or engines. His crews were exhausted from hours of fighting, but they had done something impossible. They had made the aliens retreat. "Negative, Captain," Admiral Choi replied. "Let them go. We have hurt them enough for one day." Across the human fleet, cheers began to echo over the radio channels. Crews who had expected to die in this battle were celebrating their survival. But Admiral Choi knew this was just the beginning. "All ships, damage reports," he ordered. "And get me a count of our losses." The reports came in slowly. 16 human ships had been destroyed or damaged too badly to fight. Hundreds of good people had died, but the rest of the fleet was still intact. More importantly, Earth was still free. Captain Boram Lee continued monitoring alien communications as the enemy fleet moved away. What she heard made her excited and worried at the same time. "Admiral," she reported, "the aliens are talking about bringing a much larger fleet next time, but they are also dealing with rebellions in at least 6 different star systems. It seems our fight has inspired others to stand up to the Council." Admiral Choi nodded. "Get all this information back to Earth immediately. President Park needs to know what we have started here." As the alien fleet disappeared into deep space, Admiral Choi looked around at his battered ships. They had won this battle, but at a terrible cost. And he knew the aliens would be back with more ships and better plans. But something had changed. In this fight, the humans had proven they could hurt the Council forces. More importantly, they had shown the galaxy that the Council was not invincible. "All ships, set course for Earth," Admiral Choi ordered. "We have a war to prepare for." 6 months after the Battle of the Asteroid Belt, the galaxy had changed. Reports came to Earth every day about new rebellions against the Galactic Council. The Kethran species had destroyed 3 Council bases. The Zalani had freed their prison, worlds. Even some Council member species were turning against their former allies, but Earth knew the Council would not forgive what had happened. They were coming back with a much larger force. President Taemin Park stood in the underground command center beneath Seoul. Around him, holographic displays showed the entire solar system. Every planet, moon, and large asteroid now had human. Weapons pointed at space. Earth had spent 6 months turning their home into a fortress. "Mr. President," Admiral Sunwoo Choi reported, "our scouts have detected the enemy fleet. 1,200 ships approaching from multiple directions. They will reach Earth in 72 hours. President Park nodded grimly. He had expected this. The Council was sending everything they had to crush humanity once and for all. "What about our defenses?" the President asked. General Kyung-ho Yoon stepped forward. He was in charge of Earth's ground-based weapons. All planetary defense systems are online, sir. The Moon has 40 missile bases. Mars has 36 fighter squadrons. Every major asteroid in the belt has been turned into a weapons platform. Defense Minister Hye Jin-yu added her report. Our fleet is ready too, sir. We have rebuilt from the last battle and added new ships. 83 vessels total, including the new heavy cruisers. President Park looked at the tactical display. Even with all their preparations, the humans were still badly outnumbered. 1,200 alien ships against 83 human vessels and the fixed defenses. It would be the largest space battle in galactic history. There is something else. Sir, Admiral Choi said quietly. Our intelligence reports suggest the Council is bringing their ancient weapons, ships they have not used for thousands of years. What kind of ancient weapons? President Park asked. We are not sure, sir, but the aliens call them the Omnarch vessels. According to captured communications, these ships are controlled by artificial minds older than most civilizations. The Council only uses them when they face what they call an extinction-level threat. President Park felt a chill. If the aliens were bringing their most powerful weapons, it meant they saw humanity as a real danger to their empire. Sir, communications. Officer Eugene Kang called out, Incoming transmission from the approaching fleet. Put it through, the president ordered. The main screen showed a being unlike any human had seen before. It looked like it was made of liquid metal that constantly shifted and flowed. When it spoke, its voice sounded like the grinding of massive gears. I am Omnarch Prime, the creature said. I have existed for 10,000 years. I have watched civilizations rise and fall. I have seen species that thought themselves mighty reduced to dust. President Park stepped forward. I am President Park of Earth. We have met your council before. Our answer has not changed. The metal being made a sound that might have been laughter. Your answer is irrelevant, President Park. We do not come to negotiate. We come to correct a mistake. Humanity will be removed from the galaxy. Your species will serve as an example to others who might think to defy the natural order. The natural order? President Park asked. Order, control, peace through submission. For 10 millennia, the galaxy has been stable under council rule. You have disrupted that stability. You have given other species dangerous ideas about freedom and independence. This cannot be allowed. The transmission ended. President Park looked around the command center at his advisors and officers. Every face showed the same mix of fear and determination. You heard them, the president said. They are not coming to conquer us. They are coming to destroy us completely, but Earth will not go quietly into the dark. Captain Bo Ram Lee was aboard her ship in the outer solar system when the enemy fleet arrived. Her vessel was hidden behind one of Neptune's moons, watching as alien ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel. What she saw made her gasp. The Council fleet was enormous, hundreds of normal warships that she recognized from the last battle. But among them were things that looked like they belonged in nightmares. Ships the size of small moons, vessels that seemed to be made of pure energy. One ship looked like a giant mechanical spider with legs that stretched for miles. Control, this is Captain Lee, she reported back to Earth. The enemy fleet has arrived. I count 1,200 ships as expected, but some of these vessels are unlike anything in our databases. Can you identify the Omnarch ships? Came Admiral Choi's voice. Bo-Ram looked at her sensors. 3 ships stood out from the rest. They were massive, larger than anything else in the fleet. One looked like a crystal cathedral floating in space. Another resembled a giant eye surrounded by metal tentacles. The third was the strangest of all. It seemed to shift between different shapes, never staying the same for more than a few seconds. I see 3 ships that match the description, Bo-Ram reported. They are moving toward the front of the formation. Copy. That, Captain, get clear of there and return to the defense line. Bo-Ram ordered her ship to retreat deeper into the solar system. As they flew away, she watched the alien fleet begin to spread out. They were surrounding Earth completely, making sure no human ship could escape. On the moon, General Kyung-ho Yoon stood in the main control room of Lunar Defense Command. Through the reinforced windows, he could see Earth hanging in space like a blue and white jewel. Soon, that beautiful world would be under attack. Sir, the enemy fleet has reached the outer perimeter, his tactical officer reported. They are beginning their approach. General Yoon looked at his displays. The lunar surface was covered with missile launchers, energy cannons, and fighter launch bays. He had spent months preparing for this moment. "All defense stations. This is Lunar Command," he announced. "The enemy is approaching. Remember your training. Make every shot count. Earth is depending on us." Above Mars, Captain So-Young Kim prepared her fighter squadrons for launch. She had survived the Battle of the Asteroid Belt and had been promoted to Wing Commander. Now she led over 200 pilots in the defense of their home world. "All pilots, this is Wing Commander Kim," she said, over the radio. "Today we fight for more than just Earth. We fight for the right of every species in the galaxy to be free. Show them what human pilots can do." The fighters launched from hidden bases across the Martian surface. They formed up in attack formations and began flying toward the approaching alien fleet. Their ships were small and fast, designed to slip through enemy defenses and strike at weak points. As the two massive fleets approached each other, something unexpected happened. Space itself seemed to change around the three Omnarch ships. Stars disappeared. The normal laws of physics bent and twisted. One of the ancient vessels began to grow larger, as if it was expanding into dimensions that human eyes could not see. "What are they doing?" Admiral Choi asked from his flagship. "Unknown, sir," his science officer replied. "But our instruments are detecting energy levels unlike anything we have ever seen. These ships are not just weapons. They are something far more dangerous." The largest Omnarch ship suddenly spoke. Its voice came from everywhere at once, filling space itself with sound. "Humanity," the voice said, "you have been judged. You have been found guilty of disrupting galactic peace. The sentence is extinction. Prepare to be removed from existence." The ship began to charge some kind of weapon. Energy crackled around its hull like lightning. Whatever it was preparing to do, it would be devastating. But humanity was not defenseless. President Park had spent months preparing for this moment. Hidden throughout the solar system were weapons that the aliens had never seen before. Human scientists had studied captured alien technology and built new devices that combined Earth engineering with Council science. "Admiral Choi," President Park said over the communication system, "execute Operation Solar Storm." Across the solar system, hidden weapons platforms activated. They had been disguised as asteroids and space debris. Now they revealed themselves and began firing at the alien fleet. But these were not ordinary weapons. They fired concentrated beams of energy that could punch through the heaviest armor. The alien fleet was caught completely by surprise. They had expected to face the same human ships and tactics from the last battle. Instead, they found themselves under attack from weapons they did not know existed. But the Omnarch ships were not ordinary vessels. The largest one finished charging its weapon and fired at Earth itself. A beam of pure energy streaked across space toward the blue planet. General Yoon watched the deadly beam approaching Earth. "All lunar batteries intercept that beam," he ordered. Every weapon on the moon fired at the same time. Hundreds of energy blasts struck the Omnarch weapon beam and deflected it away from Earth. The deadly energy passed harmlessly into space, the ancient artificial intelligence controlling. The Omnarch ship paused. For the first time in 10,000 years, its attack had been stopped by a primitive species. "Impossible," the Omnarch said. "These creatures should not possess such capabilities." But humanity was full of surprises. As the alien fleet closed in for the final attack, they were about to learn that Earth had been preparing for this battle in ways they could never imagine. The Battle of Sol raged for 3 days. The space around Earth was filled with burning ships and deadly energy beams. Human defenders fought desperately against the massive alien fleet, but they were slowly being pushed back toward their home planet. On the 3rd day, something changed. Half of the alien fleet suddenly stopped fighting. Ship after ship began to retreat toward the edge of the solar system. Messages were flying between the alien vessels in languages that human computers could barely translate. Admiral Sunwoo Choi stood on the bridge of his damaged flagship, trying to understand what was happening. "Captain Lee, what are you hearing from their communications?" Captain Bo-Ram Lee's voice came over the radio from her intelligence ship. "Sir, it sounds like rebellions are breaking out all across the galaxy. The alien captains are getting orders to return home to defend their own worlds." "How many are leaving?" Admiral Choi asked. About half the fleet, sir. But the 3 Omnarch ships are staying, and they are still trying to destroy Earth. Admiral Choi looked at his tactical display. Even with half the alien fleet gone, the humans were still badly outnumbered, and those 3 ancient ships were more dangerous than all the others combined. The largest Omnarch ship moved closer to Earth. Its mechanical voice echoed across all radio frequencies. "Lesser species flee to protect their insignificant worlds," the ancient AI said. "But we do not abandon our mission. Humanity will be destroyed. The galactic order will be restored." President Taemin Park watched from the command center as the massive alien ship approached Earth. It was so large that it blocked out the sun when it passed in front of it. Weapons along its hull were charging with enough energy to crack a planet. "All defense stations," President Park announced. "Concentrate fire on the lead Omnarch ship. Everything we have." Every human weapon in the solar system turned toward the approaching giant. Missiles launched from the moon. Energy cannons fired from Mars. Hidden platforms throughout the asteroid belt opened fire. The combined attack lit up space like a second sun. But the Omnarch ship seemed barely damaged. Its ancient armor was stronger than anything humans had ever seen. The AI's voice came again, sounding amused. "Your weapons are primitive," it said. "We have survived the death of stars. We have seen galaxies collide. What can one small species do to beings like us?" Lieutenant Jae-won Park had been listening to this from his small mining ship hidden behind one of Jupiter's moons. He was not supposed to be in the battle at all. His job was to mine asteroids, not fight aliens. But when he heard the ancient AI's arrogant words, something snapped inside him. Jae-won looked at his ship's cargo hold. It was filled with raw materials from the asteroids, including several tons of antimatter that he had been collecting for Earth's energy plants. Antimatter was incredibly dangerous. Even a small amount could create an explosion powerful enough to destroy a city. "This is Mining Ship 7, Jae-won said over the radio. "I am requesting permission to attempt a special attack on the lead Omnarch vessel." "Mining Ship 7, this is Admiral Choi," came the reply. "You are not a warship. Return to base immediately." "Sir, I have something that might hurt them. But I need to get close." Admiral Choi paused. He had seen the antimatter cargo manifests for the mining ships. He understood what Jae-won was suggesting. "Mining Ship 7, that would be a suicide mission." "Yes, sir. But that thing is about to destroy Earth. Someone has to try." There was a long silence on the radio. Then Admiral Choi's voice came back, quiet and sad. "Permission granted, Lieutenant." "Good luck." Jae-won pushed his small ship out from behind Jupiter and began flying toward the massive Omnarch vessel. His mining ship was not built for combat, but it was fast and hard to detect. The alien ship's sensors were focused on the larger human warships. As he flew closer to the ancient vessel, Jae-won could see details of its construction. The hull was covered with strange symbols that seemed to move and change. Weapon ports opened and closed like breathing mouths. It was both beautiful and terrifying. "Computer," Jae-won said to his ship's AI, "calculate the best impact point for maximum damage." "Warning," his computer replied. "Impact with antimatter cargo will result in complete destruction of this vessel and probable destruction of target." "I know," Jae-won said quietly. "Do it anyway." The computer highlighted a section of the alien ship near what looked like its main power core. If Jae-won could hit that spot with his antimatter cargo, the explosion might be enough to cripple or destroy the ancient vessel. But first he had to get through the alien ship's defenses. As his small mining vessel approached, automated weapon systems began targeting him. Energy beams flashed past his ship as he dodged and weaved through space. "Come on," Jae-won whispered to his ship. "Just a little closer." On Earth, millions of people watched the news broadcasts showing the tiny mining ship flying toward the giant alien vessel. Children pointed at the sky where they could see flashes of light from the battle. Parents held them close, knowing that their world's fate depended on what happened in the next few minutes. The Omnarch AI finally noticed the approaching mining ship. "Insignificant vessel, you will be destroyed," it announced. But Jae-won was already too close. His ship slammed into the alien vessel's hull right at the power core. The antimatter in his cargo hold met normal matter and exploded with the force of a small star. The explosion tore a massive hole in the Omnarch ship's side. For the first time in 10,000 years, one of the ancient vessels was badly damaged. Atmosphere rushed out into space. Internal explosions lit up the alien ship from inside. The AI's voice came again, but now it sounded shocked and confused. Impossible! How can primitives damage an Omnarch vessel? But the damage was real. The ancient ship began to list to one side, its engines failing. Emergency systems tried to seal the hull breach, but the explosion had been too powerful. Across the solar system, human crews cheered when they saw the mighty alien ship crippled. But there were still 2 more Omnarch vessels, and they were now moving to attack with renewed fury. The second Omnarch ship, shaped like a giant mechanical eye, turned its weapons toward Earth. "Brother ship has been damaged by treachery," it said. "We will not make the same mistake. Earth will burn." But something unexpected happened. As the eye-shaped ship charged its weapons, it received a message from deep space. The transmission came from other artificial intelligences, Omnarchs that had stayed in the dark regions beyond the galaxy. "Brother ships," the distant voice said, "the galactic order is collapsing. Species are rebelling everywhere. The Council, fleets are retreating. Our careful work of 10 millennia is being undone. You must return to help restore control." The 3 Omnarch ships paused. For the first time since arriving at Earth, they were uncertain. Their mission was to destroy humanity, but their greater purpose was to maintain the galactic order. If that order was falling apart, they might be needed elsewhere. The eye-shaped ship spoke to its damaged brother and the third vessel, which kept changing shapes. "The greater mission must take priority," it said. "These humans have proven they can damage us. If we stay to destroy them, we might lose more ships while the galaxy burns." Admiral Choi could hardly believe what he was hearing over the intercepted alien communications. The Omnarchs were actually considering retreat. "All human ships," he announced, "prepare for one final attack. If we can hurt them badly enough, they might decide we are too dangerous to fight." The remaining human fleet, battered but not broken, formed up for a desperate assault. Captain So-Young Kim led her surviving fighters in a coordinated strike. General Kyung-Ho Yoon fired every remaining weapon on the moon. Ships throughout the solar system launched their last missiles. The combined attack was not enough to destroy the Omnarch vessels, but it caused more damage. The shape-changing ship lost one of its weapon arrays. The eye-ship's sensors were cracked. Even the damaged first ship took more hits to its already weakened hull. The ancient AIs made their decision. "The humans are more dangerous than anticipated," the lead Omnarch announced. "We withdraw to deal with greater threats. But know this, species of Earth, we will remember you. This is not over." The 3 massive ships began to move away from Earth. As they retreated, the remaining alien fleet followed them. Within hours, the space around Earth was clear of enemy vessels for the first time in weeks. President Park stood in the command center, watching the tactical display as the last alien ship disappeared from their sensors. Around him, his advisors and officers were celebrating, but he remained thoughtful. "Sir," Admiral Choi said, "we have won. Earth is free." President Park nodded slowly. "For now. But those ancient machines were right about one thing. This is not over. The galaxy has changed, and we are part of that change now." Over the following months, reports came in from across the galaxy. The Galactic Council had collapsed completely. Dozens of species had declared independence. Some former Council worlds were asking to join the new Free Species Alliance that Earth was helping to organize. Captain Bo-Ram Lee was chosen to lead humanity's first diplomatic mission to other star systems. Her job was to help build the new galactic government, one based on cooperation instead of domination. But Earth also prepared for the future. The Omnarchs had retreated, not been destroyed.